We got a microwave and it need to get hung up. Cross your fingers, y'all.
So we might make this a theme now, y'all. When y'all see us in the parking lot, y'all know that we done just got a deal, okay? We couldn't even pull out the camera because we were too busy negotiating, okay? So today's deal, we got some flooring, some vinyl waterproof flooring, y'all.
We just spent $60 on one box of flooring. So it was around like $2 or probably $3 a square foot. They marked it down.
We pretty much got this for what? Around 60-something cents a square foot. For 7 boxes, we end up paying what we would have paid for 3 boxes. Guess what? It's crazy. We were gonna buy 3 boxes anyway.
That's why you just gotta ask. Hey, anytime we see a markdown tag, we negotiate it because that means they don't want it no more, especially if they only got a small amount. Y'all gotta kind of do the math. You gotta run around and search around. Only do it.
Man. Oh.
And not only that, this is flooring for the house we about to go to and for the water house. It's enough flooring to do the bathroom that's in the basement.
Yes, so stay tuned, y'all.
All right. Where to next?
Forward.
Said forward. For real. So the truck done broke down, y'all. Big shout outs for G Win, man. He be coming through. He said I lied. So I finished up this trim right here, smacking that on down. So now we got a good transition from the living room to the kitchen. Now I am nailing down our trim. Got that in, this in over here. Just screwed this cabinet to where I wanted it to be. And the way I actually screwed this, of course I screwed it to the wall. I didn't screw it to the floor just because this cabinet actually sits on top of the floor and we still need this floor to, you know, have its little breathing room. And by this being screwed down or weighed down, it'll stop that. So it's kind of like floating right now, really. We just gotta glue that top on top of there. Just measure this up, so I just gotta put 2 more pieces of trim in here, and then we're gonna roll out our cove base underneath the cabinet. And then, yeah, we'll be able to throw up this microwave and, you know, finish up the stuff in this kitchen. I'm cutting my baseboard trim right here, and I do have my big saw, but it's outside in the garage, and instead of me going back and forth or bringing the saw in here and creating dust everywhere, I got my little manual joint right here. So I actually bought this from the warehouse years ago. This kind of like the same setup they be having at Home Depot. They be having a little saw, hand saw, and they have this little, kind of like a template. So we got this little template here. If you need to cut a 90-degree cut, you put that bad baby right in the middle. If you need a 45-degree angle from this right side, bam, you can cut it from there to there to get that cut, or this way. Or if you need like a 45-degree cut going this way here to kind of mend 2 pieces together without seeing too much, you can hit it sideways like this here. I kind of like this manual because to me, you know what I'm saying, you get a little muscle workout. So I got my mark on here for that back wall. I'm gonna go ahead and slice and dice it. And if y'all wanna know how to cut manual, some people think you're supposed to just take this saw and just start hacking away. I actually learned this in wood class in freshman year of high school. So the first thing you want to do to make that initial cut is to start up front and literally just pull it back just to make that initial cut. So same thing, because you see how I pushed that up, the whole thing moved. I'll start up here again. It's kind of like making a pilot hole. And after you got your initial cut in there, now we got somewhere for the saw to actually sit. That's when we're gonna start going crazy with it and getting our saw on. The good thing about this template too, with these lines being in here, it keep your saw right where you want it to be. Bam. So I got my finish nailer. Also gonna mark these studs. I keep losing my dang on pencil. There we go. So I can see the screws, the nails on the wall from the drywall. So that'll give me a good indicator where the studs are. Of course, it's every 16 inches. And we do have like the refrigerator water line right here. I might have to cut out a little divot for it. Yep, I'm gonna go ahead and mark this because I don't want to smash this line. And shoot, got my jigsaw right here. Gonna cut out this little mark right here just so we won't be smashing that water line. Shouldn't need that much. Let's see. That's cool. We can still move and push through. And it's gonna come up out the floor, bam, right into the refrigerator. All right, take our finish, Nella. All right, now I need to cut a piece of quarter round. Nope, you know what? I'm gonna actually cut a piece of trim first. And with these cuts on here, when we get to this corner right here, I made like a little miter cut so they can meet up at a certain angle and be perfect. We can go with 32 1/8. And I'm gonna have to put 2 miter cuts on here. I'm gonna need an outside corner and then the inside corner cut for that one. It's definitely way quicker with the chop saw. It's just like, sheesh. Now these miter cuts being a little bi. All right, now we gotta cut our inside. This boy look crooked. All right, so y'all see how this is the outside cut. And then on this side is the inside cut. And of course that crooked saw got my all off. It's good at the top, short at the bottom. Same with this, short at the bottom, good at the top. I'm going outside of my big saw. All right, I'm back, y'all. It's way better to just use the saw, the big saw. Because it straight cuts every time. This gave me a crooked cut, which means in return, I had to recut this. Now I gotta mend 2 pieces together over here, but I ain't tripping, it still worked out. Good to go. So now we just need to add a little of this here. Now I'm just cutting out the little divots for that water line. The little handsaw work good for the quarter round trim. All right, y'all, so now I just gotta cut this trim back and I can glue that down. We still gonna have to get some caulk and stuff and go around and caulk the edges. One thing I forgot about. All right, so now we finished with this cold base. And this actually peel and stick. I don't usually trust peel and stick stuff, but this stuff actually sticks pretty good on the back of this cabinet. I did hit it with a wet rag, make sure there wasn't no dust on there before I did it. So we'll just unroll it. Got that little paper on the back of it. So the bottom of this actually bends, so it can be like a little 1/4 inch lip. Not 1/4 inch lip, but it can be like a 1/2 inch lip. Kind of just like how the quarter round work around that trim. So before I glue this boy on there, I want to make sure I bend this, kind of flatten it out, and then push it up against there, just so we can go over our final fluting. So I'm gonna start down in this corner first. Just gonna peel it a little bit back. I don't want that boy to stick, and then I gotta pull it back off. Kind of put it down flat on the floor, then that angle. Ooh. And then I got my little roller right here. Hit it with that. Bam. Gotta make sure all the paper get pulled off that boy too, because you might get a little piece to stay like that. And that's what happened over here. I was wondering why that end ain't stick. So the trim around here looks a million times better. The trim really makes stuff look good. Probably like a 2-foot piece for this corner, same with the quarter round as well. I need to get some wood filler and some caulk to be able to caulk all these baseboards, and then we won't be ready to paint. All right, y'all, so we got a microwave and it need to get hung up. We got to take a bunch of measurements. I don't have the template because we bought it on clearance, but I do have the bracket from the old microwave and they do work with this one. This bracket has to go up first, and then the microwave clip onto these ends right here. Then the screws going from the top of this cabinet down is where it gets screwed into the microwave, and that's how it stay put. So we're gonna hook this bracket up to it first, and then I'm gonna take some measurements to make sure my bracket is in the right spot. And I make my straight line. And I also wanna mark my stud too. That's very important. other stud over here. So with this bracket, oh yeah, I think we got another stud. Yep, right there too. Do we? All right, so I got my studs marked. The door tore up this cabinet door right here, so I want to make sure we got a nice amount of space off of that. Some breathing room. All right, that's straight. So I can mark my holes where my stud is. It's gonna be one smack dab right here in the middle. We got one over here and one in the middle. That's gonna hold this bad baby up. Then I'm gonna take another measurement to make sure that's gonna fit. 16/8. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit more so make sure we got enough space. So now with these big old screws, we got a Phillips head, but also got a hex head. I don't have my hex bits. Need to get my hex bit. Yep, need them hex bits. I got my nut driver. That'll work. Jeez, this boy tight. I really need a crescent wrench. There we go. Nice and tight. So now we just gonna dry fit this microwave. Cross your fingers, y'all. Hopefully the screws match up. We ain't got nothing extra to do. Let's see. Plug cool. Let's check the screw. See, this hole is all the way over here to the right, so we definitely gonna have to make new holes. So the outlet worked good. We just need to come over to the right for the screw holes. This one, I have to screw a whole new one. So now we about to just take some measurements. I also got to cut out the hole for the exhaust vent too. So this rectangle here, I'm gonna have to cut out one of those up there just so we can hook up to that bad baby right there. So right now we're gonna run to the grocery store because it's time to get some food.